Okay, I just wanted to show this off just a little bit before we get started because I did not do the base on camera. I used hollow foil, mostly a bundle from Caress Press. I did some planner choco like overlays. So this is how the base turned out. I wanted you guys to see it before we got started. I also used some of the wave like little things from Planner Choco. So we are going to get into the plans for this week. Hey everybody, this is definitely something very different for me that I am doing this week, but I'm actually doing a voiceover for the plans for the week. My talk through of this plan with me was just a mess and it was terrible, so I just went ahead, made the decision to do a voiceover for the week. So I'm just going to kind of give you guys a little rundown of what happened on our vacation week. Monday we were in Indiana. We were staying in Indiana for 2 days so my daughter could hang out with her friends. And that morning when we woke up, our main plan for the day was to go check out Scribble. We went ahead and got some Starbucks before we headed over to Scribble. I was super excited to try them because I see a lot of stuff on TikTok, but like the closest one to me is like 2.5 hours or 2 hours away. So we were excited to try that. I will say after that, we were underwhelmed. I think just because the flavors were weird. So we were able to try, but like I said, we were just kind of underwhelmed. I'm sure we'll probably make a couple trips to try them out sometime in the future. And then after we got the cookies, my daughter wanted to go walk around and hang out at the mall with her girlfriend. So we went ahead and did that. And then after we were done at the mall, my daughter's friend had a game. So Mackenzie ended up going with them for the rest of the afternoon and till pretty late in the evening. So that kind of opened up some time for me and hubby to have like a date afternoon night. So we went back to the hotel and went in the pool for a little while. And then we got some dinner. So I put down dinner date. I wanted to make sure that I put dinner date, but I also wanted to like write down exactly where we went. So we went to Johnson's Barbecue for dinner, and then I put down that I couldn't sleep. We had to get up like so early the next morning, and I was trying so hard to go to sleep early, and it was just not happening. So Tuesday morning, we checked out of the hotel like super early. I think we were like out by 6 or 5:30. So I was super tired. We were all super tired. So now we are starting the 12-hour drive to get to Savannah. It's 8 hours between Indiana and where my bestie Shay lives that we were picking her up. So I did mark that we were picking her up. After we picked her up, we did take a like detour that added like 20 minutes to the trip. But we wanted to check out the Buc-ee's in Georgia. So I love that I got to experience it because I've heard and seen so many crazy, amazing things about Buc-ee's, and it was amazing. We got some food to try, we got some souvenirs, and it was definitely worth the extra 20 minutes added to our trip. So after we went to Buc-ee's, we headed to our Airbnb to check in. So I did mark that we checked in. And then when we got there, we were all like so worn out and tired. We didn't feel like going to the store and getting any food for the Airbnb. So we decided to just order in, and this was the biggest fail, like ordering in. We decided to do Uber Eats, and We usually don't use Uber Eats because Uber Eats in our area at home is like terrible. But we decided to do Uber Eats, and we looked through some reviews and ordered from a Chinese food place that had pretty good reviews. And it, while we were sitting there waiting, the food finally came. And when my husband walked back inside to the Airbnb, and opened the bag, we noticed that it didn't have our name on it. So we got delivered the totally wrong order. And he called back to the driver, but he had already accepted another delivery. So there was nothing he could do on his end. And Uber Eats is not like DoorDash where they have like a chat that you can like get your problem fixed right away. So my husband ended up having to talk to them for about 10 minutes at the restaurant, finally to be able to go pick up our food. And when he picked up our food, like, it was a pretty massive order for the for the four of us. It was disgusting. Like, I mean, we were all so tired that all we could do was just like laugh so much, but it was disgusting and it was terrible. I'm surprised that we didn't get sick, because we did try to take like a couple bites of a couple certain things, but it was just so nasty. But memorable experience of the Uber Eats disaster. So then on Wednesday was going to be our beach day. So we did sleep in a little bit. We didn't get up like hella early. And then we needed to go to a grocery store to get like some snacks and like some stuff to have at the Airbnb. And we ended up going to Kroger, and it was the worst Kroger experience that I've ever had. We couldn't find a shopping cart, so we were like holding all the stuff that we needed to buy. And then when we checked out, the cashier was like chucking our stuff like into the bags. It was horrible. So after we did the Kroger trip, we came back and had a quick lunch before we headed down to the beach, which was Tybee Beach. We went to the south side of the beach, which was super nice. We got pretty lucky and found a pretty close parking spot. And Shay and my daughter headed to the beach, and me and my husband went and got a drink from, it's called Wet Willie's. Georgia is like an open container, like the area we were in. So you can go to like a bar, Wet Willie's in our case, and get an alcoholic beverage and take it with you to the beach. So we went and got the alcohol slushies. Mine was like so strong, but it was still good. My husband's was super good. He got like the strawberry pina colada, and it was so good. So I marked the beach. I marked with that little Once More with Love swimming munchkin that we swam in the ocean. And towards like the end of our beach visit, we went into the ocean one last time, and Shay stayed on the beach to get some sun, and we weren't paying attention, and our stuff was lower down on the beach, and we were actually in the ocean when the tide began to rise, and we were very close to losing Shay to the tide. And I felt so horrible because when we got out, she was like all disheveled, and she saved our phones, but like our towels were like sopping wet, and it was just a mess. And I felt so bad that we weren't there to help her. So, we did do a bunch of souvenir shopping, after we were done on the beach on Wednesday. My daughter was like super excited about going to the surf shops and stuff, and that's where we got most of our souvenirs. And then for dinner, it took us forever to find somewhere to go for dinner, but it ended up being the best meal of the trip. We went to the Savannah Smokehouse and got barbecue, and then we came back home and had a game night, which was super fun. I'm so behind. So on Thursday, we didn't really have like a ton of solid plans, except I had something scheduled for later in the day. So we wound up having some brunch. When we went to Kroger the day before, we had gotten a bunch of stuff for like breakfast, so we weren't up super early, so we called it brunch. And then we went to the Bonaventure Cemetery. It was very close to our Airbnb, and it was really amazing. Like, it was beautiful, like with the, what is it, the Spanish moss and the trees, and it was just gorgeous. It was breathtaking. And it was fun to see like some of the stories behind a couple of the people that were buried there. So we went there for a little bit, and then we checked out the Savannah River Walk to see what we could find down there. Again, gorgeous, beautiful views. Our trip, a lot of it was like gorgeous, like just so many great views, like so many great experiences with, just the nature and everything that was around us. So when we were down at the Riverwalk, we decided to get a drink and a couple appetizers at Joe's Crab Shack. I used the rolling eye munchkin because it took so long for us to get our food, and the portions were like tiny, like terrible. So definitely wasn't the best experience eating wise at Joe's Crab Shack. Then before we had to leave, we checked out the Savannah Candy Company. It was actually Praline Day when we were there. So that was super fun. And then we walked on the historic steps and the Lock Bridge, which was super fun too. So that night I had booked us a Sunset Dolphin tour, which was amazing. Again, views, experiences. It was just awesome. Like, I can't really say anything else about it. And then that night, instead of like going to a restaurant, we decided to cook steaks at our Airbnb, and it was delicious and super nice to just sit down and have dinner together. So Friday, our last full day in Savannah, we decided to have another beach visit that morning because my daughter wanted to go back like so bad. So we visit Tybee Island Beach again. And then I needed to go to like one last gift shop because there was a couple of souvenirs that I forgot to pick up. So we did that. And then when we were done, we went home and showered, and we had like 2 hours to just chill and not do anything before we needed to get ready for our evening plans. And our evening plans were in Savannah downtown. We had dinner at the Duck Diner, which I will say I was super excited to go to the Duck Diner, but I wasn't like blown away by our dinner there. So downtown Savannah also had another Wet Willie's, so I got myself an alcoholic beverage. And then we kind of explored. There was like a square, there was music, there was like a bunch of stuff to do, and we also kind of got dessert at this place called Bird's Cookies. They're famous, little teeny crunchy cookies, and they were so good. So I forget what time, we had a ghost tour scheduled for that night. So we headed to our meetup spot for the ghost tour. I will say that the ghost tour was fun. You got to see you got to see different places of Savannah, which was nice. But there was so many ghost tours going on at the exact same time that it was very condensed. I would have loved to. They had a couple different options. Like, they had one on a bus, which probably would have been fun. But I still was super glad that I got to experience it with our group. So when we came home from the ghost tour, me and Shay just kind of like laid in bed and we're watching TikTok and just like laughing and talking because I was actually very swollen. The past 2 days, my legs and my ankles were swollen very badly. And while I was relaxing and putting my feet up, my gracious husband started packing for us. So Saturday morning, we did need to check out of the Airbnb. We had to be out at like 10 o'clock. So we got up a little early, not like crazy. And then we decided to head to where Shay lives to drop her back off. We were all kind of hungry, so we decided to stop at McDonald's for a snack. And then there was traffic hell, and long story, my husband was kind of driving like an asshole. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he was making me kind of upset, and we got into a little bit of an argument over being like stressed out about the traffic, but also him and his driving. So we finally got to where Shay lived, and we said bye to her, which was sad. I miss her so much. It was so nice spending a few days with her. And then the rest of our drive for that day was like in mountains, and it was beautiful. It was just an amazing drive. And we decided to stay in a hotel that night because I didn't want to do like all of the drive at once. Because we didn't need to be back until like the next day. My husband didn't have to work until Monday. I didn't have to work until Monday. So we decided to stay in Tennessee. They had a nice pool, so we swam and just kind of relaxed for the rest of the evening. We stayed in a Holiday Inn Express, and they had a bomb breakfast the next morning, which I've stayed in a couple hotels since the pandemic started, and I have not had a good breakfast. And they had a really good one. So they had a late checkout, so we did take advantage of that late checkout. And when we finally checked out at about noon, we went across the street to this fireworks store to get just a couple fun like sparkler things to take home for the 4th. Then on the drive, we listened to a couple Crime Junkie episodes, and it was pretty much just another like 7 to 8 hour day of travel. So we just headed home. And then when we got home, we just had a chill dinner and watched TV and cuddled with the kitties, and I had a bath. So I'm going to fill everything out, and I will be back to say goodbye to you guys. Okay, so here is the full spread, all filled out. My handwriting, I can't stand it. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I will talk to you soon. Bye.